Have you ever feared losing your life to a man in a bunny costume? Let's talk about that. Now, this year has been plumb full, plumb full of great stories and tales of the supernatural, cryptids, things that bump in the night. Lots of good, weird stuff. But today we are not diving into the supernatural. No, today we are diving into the serial killers, bad people. Because today we are talking about none other than the Bunnyman. Let's take a trip back to the same state as our previous video about the Dunlora Mansion. The Bunnyman is an urban legend that originated from two incidents that took place in Fairfax County, Virginia in 1970, both of which were accounts of a man in a bunny costume who took the lives, if you will, of victims using either an axe or hatchet. Versions of the legendary Bunnyman vary depending on the person who tells the story, whether it be his weapon, his motive, the description of the victims, or descriptions of the bunny costume he was wearing, or a lack thereof. The most commonly agreed upon detail of the Bunnyman is that his incidents took place at the Colchester Overpass in Clifton, Virginia. Brian A. Conley, a Fairfax County Public Library historian archivist, has extensively done research on the Bunnyman and has come up with two incidents of a man who threatened other civilians or individuals with harming them with an axe or hatchet weapon, as well as vandalisms in the Burke, Virginia area. The first incident was reported in October 19th of 1970 by U.S. Air Force Academy cadet Robert Bennett and his fiancée, who were visiting relatives on the Guinea Road in Burke. Around midnight, while returning to their vehicle from a football game they had just attended, they had claimed to have parked in a field across the road from their uncle who they intended to visit. When they got into the car, started up, they sat in there with some basic playful banter and conversation as couples do, when they noticed a figure in a white costume approach their window. The front passenger window was then smashed, and just outside, both witnesses claimed to have seen a man in a white bunny costume with an axe in hand yelling at them saying they were on private property. Now, honestly, this could be construed as just a crazy guy in a bunny costume with an axe. And it also took place in October. So, Halloween, obviously the guy is trying to scare somebody, or so you may think. Upon driving away from the terrifying scene they had witnessed, they had found a hatchet on the passenger side floor. When the police asked them for a description of the attacker, Bennett then insisted that he was in a white bunny costume, whereas his fiancée disagreed and said that he was in fact wearing a pointy white hood, if you will. Yeah. That doesn't seem to be outside the realm of possibility. The second reported sighting occurred on October 29th of 1970, when a construction site security guard noticed a man standing on the porch of an incomplete home on the construction site. The man was said to be wearing a gray, black, and white bunny costume and was about 20 years old, 5 feet 8 inches or 1.73 meters tall, and weighed about 175 pounds. The man began chopping at the floor of the porch with a long axe, screaming at the security guard, "You're on private property. Come any closer and I'll chop your head off." And whoa, that is honestly kind of crazy. That's wild. Imagine just being out on your like security rounds in the middle of the night and you see a dude in a bunny costume smashing his axe up and down, screaming at you to not come any closer. He's going to cut your head off. To be honest with you, I probably would have blown his head off. Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube or not. I don't know if I'm getting in trouble for saying that, but that's what I would have done. I'm not standing there and just like, okay, I'll see you later, buddy. Of course, this incident also took place on Guinea Road in Fairfax, Virginia, not far away from where the first incident had taken place. The Fairfax County Police then opened an investigation in trying to find out who, in fact, this Bunnyman was, but they eventually closed the case due to a lack of evidence. Several newspapers, including the Washington Post, reported that the Bunnyman had eaten a man's runaway cat. Which that's pretty cool. The Post articles that mentioned this incident were, in fact, "Man in bunny suit sought in Fairfax on October 22nd, 1970. The rabbit reappears on October 31st, 1970. The Bunnyman strikes again November 1st, 1970. Bunnyman seen November 4th, 1970. Bunnyman reports are multiplying November 6th, 1970. So there have been many tales of the Bunnyman. But he's never been caught. He's never been identified. Which to me makes for a perfect campfire tale of just the most terrifying encounter you could have with a random stranger. I don't think that the Bunnyman is a supernatural entity, if you will. I think that the Bunnyman is definitely real. I definitely do think that people saw the Bunnyman. But I just think that he might have been a deranged man in a costume who is never identified. The Bunnyman is good. It's a good story. Perfect. Good story. There have also been alleged reports of the Bunnyman being seen in like England, like London, in the UK, which is stupid and dumb. He's in Virginia and he lives in Virginia and he haunts Virginia. He's not in London because British people are stupid. That was a joke. That was a joke. I was kidding. I was kidding. They said I wasn't kidding, but I was kidding. They said I knew where the Bunnyman was. I told them I didn't know. I don't know where the Bunnyman is. The Bunnyman's not real. He's fake. He's not real. Don't ask about him. He's not real. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. That was completely unprompted and just random. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to witness that. But once again, we have delved into another wonderful piece of horror history on the internet. The Bunnyman is still at large, ladies and gentlemen. And stay away from the overpass. The Colchester overpass in Fairfax, Virginia. I'd stay away from there if I were you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell everyone. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.